Hey everyone, I'm Silwolf, and I thought I would take us through a nostalgic trip of old 90s toy packaging. So you can see the sort of artwork that they had compared to the artwork of today. I thought it would be nice from an artistic perspective, and also because a lot of it was hand-drawn stuff and not done digitally or anything like that. And it's all quite nice and it's just nostalgic, really. That's why I'm doing it. Any of those 90s kids out there would understand. So anyway, or anyone even who's interested in the old packaging. So we start off with Pound Puppies. Now, Pound Puppies originally were released by Hornby in the UK. And this one here has got a photograph of the different Pound Puppies on it, and Pound Purries. And it's actually got, as well, a code at the top. So you can see what they all are. So you've got Purry, Dalmatian, Rumpelskin, Furry Purry, Standard Pound Puppy, Newborn Rumpelskin, Basset Hound, Yappy, Newborn Purry, Newborn Furry Purry, Yappy at Play, Mummy and Babies. And there they all are. And they were all, I think they were all quite individual and cute and everything like that. And I loved Pound Puppies as a kid. They were released by other companies as time went on. I'm not sure who owns them now. I think that Hornby's still going, but again, I'm not entirely sure. I had the Dalmatian one, you see at the top. I had that one as well, so I've got those two. And I had some of the little newborn ones as well, which came in a basket, and they came in pairs. And I also have a Furry Purry as well. I think mine's black. And he was a small one like that. So I did have quite a few of them. I also had two this size as well. I had a black one and a spotty one like that, although it was cream and brown, not grey and brown. And I loved the Pound Puppies. They were some of my favourites as a kid. So there's no date really on this because this has kind of come off. But I'm guessing it would be like 88, 89. It's pretty old. Okay, moving on. We've got some more nice artwork here. And again, I don't know what year these guys came out. I'm thinking it was the early 90s. Kittens. And you can see here, and it's really hard to fit all this packaging on the screen. I do apologise that it's at the slant. It's got a really nice, traditionally done picture, like illustration of these three kittens on the front here. And the whole thing was like, there was like a basket thing at the bottom and the little cat plush was in there. And the thing with Kittens is they had like a thing inside them that when you rocked them back and forth, it would make a purring noise. They didn't have batteries. It was done because the little thing inside it had knobbles in it and a ball. The ball rolling over the knobbles inside made like a purring noise. And this is what it says on the back. You'll love how real they feel. And I'm not going to read all of this because we'll be here all day, but there's a nice photograph here of a kid playing with the little kitty, and it shows you all the different ones. And my one was that one, the Siamese. I also have one of these as well, the little calico. Basically, they re-released them a few years later, and they called them kitty baby kittens. I don't know why. Because a kitten is a baby cat. A baby kitten would be like a fetus or something. It was just a bit weird. And I think they were done by a different company because they weren't quite as good quality. So there you go. But there is no date at the bottom on this either. These were released by Tyco. I don't think Tyco is still going. And again, it was the early 90s. So the next one we have, a lot of you 90s kids would probably remember these. The rest of you will probably remember the new ones that they released in the early 2000s, Littlest Pet Shop. And this is the first one that I ever had, and it was a ticklish toucan. And you can see there's a picture here of the toucan. You can see there's the price. You can see it came from Woolworths. Rest in peace, Woolworths. We don't actually have it over here anymore. It went bankrupt, but they do still have it in other places like South Africa, which is quite random. And the logo there is all the little animals around, and the parrot in the middle, which I think is quite cute. And the whole thing looks like a pet shop window. So you're like looking in the pet shop, and there's the toucan, which would have been here. These ones were released by Kenner. Kenner was later bought out by Hasbro, which is why any future Littlest Pet Shop things were done by Hasbro. On the back, we see what the toucan does. And the nice thing about these is they did something individual. Now, I like the new Littlest Pet Shop, but the old ones were just, they had more charm to them. The new ones just kind of had bobbly heads and magnets, but the old ones, they all did something different, and they were kind of like, I think, more carefully thought out. And although I like the new ones, the old ones will still be close to my heart because they were just a big part of my childhood. So you can see all the different ones you can get there, and the smaller, cheaper ones and the larger sets. And I had all of these except for that one, that one, and that one. So literally, and I had ticked off ones I had, but I got more later on. So yeah, I had pretty much every single set of these, and I also had the pet shop. So these were released by Kenner, which is part of Tonka Corporation, in 1992. And things back then had the lion symbol, which meant that it was safe for children. I don't know if they use that anymore. I don't think they do. I think it just says CE now, which is the European safety standard for everything, really. So there you go. That was Littlest Pet Shop from the 90s. Another really nostalgic thing, Polly Pocket by Bluebird Toys. Bluebird Toys is also bought out, I believe, by Hasbro. So Polly and her bunnies. Now, if I just lay this out on the thing, it was a kind of a long bit of cardboard, and inside the vacuum packed plastic, stuck to the front, would be the Polly Pocket locket, and it would be open so you could see everything inside it as well, so you saw what you were getting. I actually saw some Polly Pocket for sale in a shop the other day, and my god, the quality and paint work on it is so poor in comparison to what it used to be. It looks so cheap, because I thought, oh, Polly Pocket, I might pick one of them up and do a video about it, but actually it wasn't worth it. It just wasn't. I was not impressed. So the little rabbits were flocked, soft and furry to touch, and you could get all different ones in these furry pets collection. You could play with it on its own or with other collectibles. And on the back you can see there's a nice picture here of Polly and her friends playing with their cats. And again, it's a nice simple picture that was drawn by someone, and who knows who it was drawn by. The saddest thing I think about all of this is that none of these artists had any kind of recognition. You don't know who did this artwork. It tells you a bit about it and other things to collect, and it also says what other things are in this particular collection. I had the kittens and the bunnies. I didn't have the puppies or the pandas. Pandas is a bit random, isn't it? You're looking at puppies, kittens and bunnies because they're pets. Furry pets. Who would keep a panda as a pet? I mean, pandas are great, but they're not exactly pets. So you've got other ones here in the other collection, just to interest you in something else. And this came out in 1993, so again, really old. So the back's kind of plain. It's just a plain white background, gets to the point, and it's got a nice picture at the top, whereas the front is all done out in like little paw prints and things. I think it's important to have like eye-catching packaging, because you want to draw the person's eye to it, and it's nice and bright, and of course with a recognizable logo, so people will go, ooh, Polly Pocket, and they'll see it hanging, you know, on its thing in the shop. Here's another one that has probably been forgotten by a lot of people, Puppy in My Pocket. Again, it's got a really nice little illustration of these puppies. It probably was done in like coloured pencils or something at the time. This is a mum and 4 babies pack. They did loads of these. I'm not even going to start with how many of these they did. Mum and 4 babies. So think about that. You've got the mum, the 4 babies, you've got a collector's card, and you've got like a little like a catalogue thing that shows you all the others. A mum and a 4 babies. So that's 5 figures. Basket and bedding, birth certificate, family fat card, right? $3.99. Okay? This is how much it cost. It was $3.99. That's how cheap things were back then. You could afford these toys with your pocket money back then. Nowadays, no. They'd charge you a tenner for something like this these days. You know, that's how much inflation has gone. In the last 30 years, it is insane to think about. So, again, this was done by Vivid Imaginations, and the packaging was normally pink and blue like this, for the puppies as well. I will go into the kitties and stuff, because it does say look out for kitty in my pocket, and I'll show you the packaging for them in a minute. So I did circle all the ones that I had. I actually do have these as well now. I have that one, and not so long ago I did actually buy the poodles by fluke. I found them on eBay and I thought, yeah, I'm getting them. And it had all these different ones as well. I do have that, the Puppyville Hotel. It was like a Christmas present my gran bought me, and I was thrilled. And I still have it because I keep all my old things because I'm terrible. But it's also useful because you wouldn't be seeing this if I didn't keep it. So there's not much sort of in the way of much illustrations on the back. It's all quite simple. It says a little bit about the mum. She's got a litter of puppies, etc, etc, for ages 4 and up, with the recognisable logo of Puppy in My Pocket. And it's all done in pink and blue on the back as well. It's nice thick cardboard and feels good quality, which is also important, especially when I get to the one that I'm doing next, which is a rip-off of Puppy in My Pocket. So this was done in '94 by Morrison Entertainment Group, which was, again, part of Vivid Imaginations. It was all connected. I don't know too much about these old manufacturers, but I do know that a lot of them don't exist anymore. And here we have a knockoff of Puppy in My Pocket. It was done the same year. These are pocket hounds. I did a video on these guys. It wasn't very popular because they're just weird bootleg things. This one was called Travel Time, and it came with a dog and a carrier, and I think it came with like a smaller dog as well. It was 99p from the pound shop, and it's got a nice illustration of the puppies here. You know, that's quite nicely drawn, and it's nice and bright and eye-catching, you know, even though the things inside were cheap tack. It was released by Playmakers, Toys Children Love. Playmakers aren't known for their authenticity, and it was released in 1994, same year as Puppy in My Pocket. And if we turn over to the back, that's it. There's nothing on the back. It's just cheapo bootleg rubbish, basically. They were trying to cash in on the popularity of Puppy in My Pocket. Moving on, Puppy in My Pocket was pink and blue. Kitty in My Pocket is purple and blue. And you've got 5 kitties, display podium, 5 fat cards, and a kitty collector file in here. Again, it's got a nice little illustration of 4 kitties, and some paw prints all over it. The corners of a lot of these are cut off because they had tokens on where you could send for extra kitties. That's why. And it says, adorable kittens to care for and love, I think. I'm trying to peer around the camera here because I'm using my tripod the other way around so I can angle the phone downwards, so there's like the back of the tripod is in the middle of what I'm looking at. Again, Vivid Imaginations did these guys. Again, it's similar to Puppy in My Pocket, similar layout. It shows you the different ones. It's got a kitty play and display house. I have the puppy play and display house. It is exactly the same, except instead of being purple, it's pink. That is it. It's the same. But it does have all these stickers that came with it that you could stick their names on for storing them in it, but only from this first set, because I think that they didn't know how popular it was going to be, so they basically didn't think anything beyond that. Turned out it was extremely popular, and they went for quite a long time, and they were also re-released under a different company some years later. This one also, unlike the puppy one, because there wasn't as many kitty products, has a little picture here of a kitty playing with a ball of wool, and it came out in 1994. I also have this one as well. It's quite clever because it had like a day and night thing. You could flip it over and it could either be day or night, which was quite neat. That came with 2 kitties and a little mouse. And the interesting thing about the mouse was the sculpt that they used for the mouse was the same as the sculpt that they used for the mice in Littlest Pet Shop, even down to the fact that it had an imprinted paw print on its rump, just like Littlest Pet Shop. I wonder where they got that from. Not many people know that, but I was a very observant child. Then, of course, because it was popular, they bought out other animals. Baby surprise. They also had Pony in My Pocket as well. And you could get koalas and all sorts of wild animals. So this one was how many babies have arrived, 3, 4, or 5. And what it was is you had the mum swan and like a little sort of, I think it was a pond or something for her to sit in. And you also had like sort of a silk like pouch thing, which contained the babies, which you would open when you received it and see how many little babies were inside. Normally it was 3. Yeah, I know, disappointing. Again, Vivid Imaginations did this one, and this one was kind of a mix of the colour scheme for kitty and puppy. It introduced yellow and it didn't really have any blue on it. It was very pink because, of course, it was for girls. Look out for Teddy in My Pocket. Oh yes, of course. Teddy in My Pocket was another one they did, because they were just doing every single thing they could think of by that point because it was popular. So there are all the different animals, and you can see the swans are there with their pond. You've got penguins, bears, elephants and tigers as well. There's the ponies, and you can see that they've reused the idea from the ponies, although the fences are a bit different, but they've still got these circular things to put them in. And to be fair, if you had them all on like a display shelf, it'd probably look quite good. They had Bunny in My Pocket as well. And here are some cats on couches, and they've reused these from the family ones, the family of Dalmatians and the family of Himalayans and things like that. Yeah, or Burmans. Are they Burmans? And they've reused those as well, the St. Bernards. And they come with birth certificates. So basically it was the mum and babies, but instead of a basket, it had like a fireplace or a sofa. It was just the same thing, but they marketed it slightly different to encourage people to buy. And here you go. This is why a lot of the corners are cut off. You saved these up and sent away for a free thing. I wasn't interested in Teddy in my pocket. I was never really a fan of Teddy, so I didn't use that one. And these were done in 95. Here we have another Littlest Pet Shop one. So what Littlest Pet Shop did was they did their first run of pets, and then they released them all in a different colourway to encourage people to buy them all over again. So you can see this has changed a bit from the original packaging. The colour here is all different. So they spruced up the packaging a bit, and you know, they just changed it a bit. You could also get sparkling pets. These guinea pigs came with their little enclosure, and it had like a little sparkly thing on the top. The back again is quite plain. I did actually write to Kenna years ago as a child. I wrote to them and I suggested an idea for guinea pigs because I had guinea pigs, and I said hungry guinea pigs. Hungry guinea pigs, the idea was they had a cabbage or something which had like a magnet in it, and there was a magnet in the guinea pig's nose, and so you put the thing in front of the guinea pig's face and it would run after it because it had wheels on the bottom of it, so it looked like it was chasing the food. They'd done similar with like their dogs and cats and things, and I thought guinea pigs are often overlooked, so why not do something like that? Then they brought out thirsty guinea pigs, and I'm like, so they didn't really want to use my idea as such, but they kind of got inspiration from it. And this was in the days of the toy companies would actually reply to you as well. So they wrote back to me. I have the letters from them, and I still have them even now because I was so happy. But yeah, hungry guinea pigs, and they released thirsty guinea pigs. So they told me at the time that they did actually have their own people who came up with the ideas for these things. And so they were very sorry they couldn't use my idea. And yet, these came out. So, I wonder. I'd like to think that I played some part, even small, in inspiring them. And I do have the letters. I could probably, if anyone wants to see them, look them out to prove that yes, indeed I did write, and they did say, oh, your idea for hungry guinea pigs was lovely, you know. And then they bought these out, so yeah, a bit weird. But anyway, these came out in 95. So we're moving on a bit now. Here's something that probably no one remembers. Mimi and the GooGoos. These were released by Bluebird, and they were kind of a bit like Polly Pocket. Bluebird, of course, made Polly Pocket as well. What you got was a themed playset with a little baby in it and some other accessories. This one was the dog show one. Poppy's Floppy Dog and Puppies. So this one did actually come with quite a few little things inside it. As you can see here, this is what it came with. The whole thing itself looked like a dog. And then you open it up, and that's the inside there. And it came with a poodle, which you could put on this sort of little thing here, press the little lever, and it would go up and down and look like it was begging. It came with two little yellow dogs. The food bowl turned upside down and could become a bath, and you've got the little baby there. The baby I gave to my friend because I didn't want it. I just wanted it for the dogs because I preferred animal things instead of people, so that's why. The back's fairly plain. It shows you the play set, and what they did a lot of times with this with the images was they used prototypes. So this here looks slightly different, as prototypes were often hand painted. So you can see that these do look a little bit hand painted, as opposed to what you actually got, which was the same colour and everything, but does have slight differences to it. And they often say that the thing inside may not be exactly the same as the thing on the packaging, and that's because they used a prototype, because they made the packaging and all they had was prototypes at the time. So they used it on the packaging. They'd have to run through several different designs, and so that's what they had to work with, and this is what they chose to do in the end. These days, I'm not sure how often they use the prototypes, because I think all of the things just faster now. So the whole process is just faster, and they can just do it up on the computer, and it's just, they make it cleaner and everything, but back then they didn't. It shows you the different ones you can get. Mimi's Cuddly Cat and Fifi's Furry Teddy and Poppy's Floppy Dog. So Mimi was the main character, and the others were just her friends, the GooGoos, because they were babies, obviously. 1995 this came out, and it tells you what the contents are as well. Again, I'm rambling so much. This video is always almost nearly 20 minutes long, and I'm not going to read out what's on the packaging. I did a video about these some time ago, again by Bluebird, Pocket Pets Huggy Pups. I think that they were going to do more of these, but they didn't in the end because they just weren't popular. Someone actually contacted me who had been in the commercial when she was a kid, And I did try to look for the commercial and couldn't find it. But yes, the girl from the commercial did leave me a comment on the video I did about these and said, oh my god, I still remember, you know, what I wore and everything, and I think she got it down from the attic to show her own daughter and stuff like that. And I'm gutted that I no longer have the commercial on video or whatever for this, because I did used to record stuff like that as a kid, and I just don't have it. So this one, as you can see, very, very brightly coloured, very eye-catching. They didn't use much artwork. They just took a picture of the puppies themselves, and they're in a basket here. The actual basket that you got was not detailed like that. It didn't have the bits painted on it or anything like that. It was just plastic and all one colour. And on the back, it shows you just a bunch of them, and it tells you what they are: the Patch family, Dalmatian family, Freckle family, etc. And there are so many colours to collect. And there they are. And the thing that they did with these, which was quite interesting, is they mixed and matched the different sculpts and different colours. So it seemed like there was more of them than there actually was. So they released all of these, but they also did like different colourways. So they'd say that one. So they did that one, but also in white. So it looked like there was more to collect than there was. It says hundreds to collect and care for. That's because they reused the main 6 sculpts and just changed the colours of them, which was a very clever thing to do, to be honest, when you want to do lots of them and make it seem like there's more to collect and get people to buy more of them, when there's actually only really 6, but they all come in different colours. Things like Squishmallows, they're kind of similar, because let's face it, they're all the same. They just kind of mix and match colours of them. You get them in, and Jellycat bunnies, again, all the same, but you like them because they come in different colours. So that's what they did with these, and that's why there was hundreds of them to collect. There wasn't really. It was just like different, I think there was like 6 different colours. That's all they did in the end, because they weren't popular enough to sell more. But they did have an advert on TV, and they were sold in quite a lot of shops, and they weren't that expensive. They came out in 1996. And it just tells you a bit about them there. And they didn't really do much. They had like beanbag bodies, and they had squishy faces, and they had along the mouth here was kind of like sliced, so you could squeeze the cheeks, which made the mouth open, and put like stick a puppy by its tail in the mom's mouth, because that's the only part of it that would fit in her mouth. And that's all it did. But they were quite entertaining, and I like my collection of them. I had quite a few of them. Next, 101 Dalmatians. Anyone remember the live action movie? These were all very basic things. They had a photograph of a puppy in the corner, they had the logo, they had the black and white and red general kind of style to them. They were always very recognisable. The back was a brighter colour, which kind of like makes this all like pop a bit more. It's quite a nice colour choice. And it showed you the different ones you could get. I had tons of these Dalmatian figures. I kept buying more and more of them. But look at this one here. That's a very 90s computer there. Look at its chunky with its little keyboard. That's like really old school. And these came out, I don't actually think there is, oh no, it says here. I think they came out in 96 because of that. So I think they came out around then. Which is why I've put it in, I'm trying to do these in chronological order, and that's why I put it there. And it's got a little photo of puppy, and the back is exactly the same as the one on the front. They just literally had one picture. Okay, moving on. So Pound Puppies, who used to be owned by Hornby, were bought out by GooGoos Toys, which is an American company, and they started redoing them. So these came with adoption certificates, and I think they only came out with the small ones, but I can't really remember. But look how nice this illustration is on the front here. They also did these little like plastic play sets that you could buy with the puppies inside as well, and it was just a nice and fresh look at Pound Puppies. And the back is a little bit plainer, but they've used the kind of same style that Hornby did, with a photograph of all the little puppies and kittens and bunnies that they did, because they introduced bunnies. And here are the play sets. I had a few of these, and I had that big one as well, and I think I did a video on that actually. It's on my channel somewhere. And there's little puppy sets at the bottom as well, and you can brush and style this one's ears. And these were done, as I said, by Galoob in 97. And again, it sort of got me back into Pound Puppies again. I think that they didn't have the same kind of charm as the Hornby ones, but they were certainly nicely made and very nostalgic, and I think they did the right thing with them, because it got a whole new generation of kids into them. And I also like these little play sets as well. They were quite fun and I enjoyed them. I think a lot of, like, my cousins did as well. One of my cousins had it too. And they also did pound furries. And I had a few of these. Again, it's a nice little illustration on the front. And there's a similar, well, it's exactly the same actually as the puppies on the back. And then they did Pound Jungle, which is all jungle animals. Puppy dog tails. These ones I did a video about recently. They were released by Chad Valley or MIG Toys. They were basically like My Little Pony, but they had tails that you could brush and style. And they came as singles, or these ones here. And they had like beauty parlor sets and larger sets of them. And they were released around 97, 98 time. Again, it's got a cute little cartoon puppy up there that's obviously hand drawn. And the logo and everything. These weren't very popular, sadly. They only released one run of them and that was it, which was a bit disappointing. So we're nearly through this now. Beast Wars. I've done something more masculine. I was massive into Beast Wars and Transformers, and here you see the character at the top. This was Rat Trap. I killed for this guy. He was my favourite. Like, I had Cheetor, but Rat Trap was like my favourite of all, and I searched everywhere for him because I wanted him so badly, and I did eventually find him, which is why I'm using his packaging instead of Cheetor's to show you. So this one, they had this sort of massive green eye on it, and of course all this metal here because, you know, it's robots and everything. They had this hand-drawn picture at the top, which is amazingly detailed actually. And then on the back, the usual thing. I find with a lot of the packaging, the background's plainer so that it doesn't impede the things that you're looking at, so your eye is drawn to the other things in the series as opposed to what's happening on the back. And it's got like I think it's a collector card thing you can cut off if you wish. His function is spy, and it actually says it in Spanish and Italian randomly. Normally it's French, but nope, Spanish and Italian. So it tells you a bit about him there, and there's the logo up there, and it tells you what other ones are available in the series. And this one was released in 97, I believe. Nope, 98, there it is. By Hasbro. So by that point, Hasbro had in fact bought out those other companies, and they were sort of like making more and more toys and figures and things like that, and becoming more popular. Last of all, we have Pokémon Pokedex. The original Pokemon products, and this was by Tiger Electronics, who, as we all know, because this is a Furby channel primarily, Hasbro also bought. And this was the original Ash's Pokedex from the TV series. And most of the Pokemon products back then had the same kind of like design at the top with Ash and Pikachu, and of course the bright coloured logo, which everyone recognises. At the bottom it says Hasbro, an official Nintendo product, and it's an encyclopedia of all 150 Pokemon, and it tells you other stuff about it as well. And yeah, I do still have this one. I came across it the other day actually. On the back there's Pikachu, the spokes Pokemon for Pokemon, the most popular one, and it tells you all about it. And there's a picture of it there. And yeah, this one is 1999 it came out, which is when Pokemon started to sort of like hit it off around the world. It came out originally in 96 in Japan, but it didn't kind of leave the country for a while because I'm guessing they didn't know how popular it was. Now, like, stuff comes out in Japan and we just know about it because Japanese culture and the things that come from Japan, the media and stuff, is just so popular. It just becomes, we want to see it, you know? New anime comes out or new games or whatever, we want to know. And so this was, I think, this was like the beginning. I mean, I did see some old anime shows on TV when I was a kid, but this was definitely the turning point for all of it. This is when Japanese stuff became big, you know? So it just says it recommends Energizer batteries and things like that. And this is all of it. I do have more, like, variations of the same packaging, but I figured it's been half an hour. If you've made it to the end and you feel nice and nostalgic now, I thank you, because it did take me some time to get all this together and actually put it in order. So thanks so much for watching if you made it all to the end. If you want to see more videos of interesting and rare things, you can click the boxes that come up below. You can check out my Etsy and New Monday stores. Links are in the description. I make plushies and take commissions and do other artwork. Or you can buy me a coffee on Ko-fi if you enjoy what I do. It all helps. So that's all for this video. Stay safe, stay healthy, and keep being awesome. This is Silver signing off.